Welcome to the Downshift. In this episode, we review what was meant to be 5 livery reveals from last week. We will gloss over what was a confusing and, I've got to say, boring PU launch. And we'll talk about the start of Shakedown and what has been leaked from Barcelona so far, as it's
lights out.
Drop the clutch.
And let's get racing.
Hello and welcome to the Downshift. Well, it has been a revealing week for Formula One.
Yeah, whatever.
Where we were meant to see 5 livery reveals, but McLaren has slipped a little surprise in for us all just before Shakedown. And I'm going to ask all of us what seems to be the common thread through all the livery reveals is, how do you feel about the liveries that have been revealed so far, guys?
Underwhelmed. Some look okay. Some not. Ferraris was disappointing again, but HP has spent a fortune on them. But, yeah,
to
I
be
don't
fair,
know.
McLaren's looked awesome. Unfortunately, they're going to paint the car for the actual race, but the testing car looks mean as.
The black. I think the black look with the Google Chrome thing around the wheels look really good.
If
I
that
wish
came
they'd
up
race with
behind you,
it.
you'd actually get out of the way and let it pass as you're going down the road.
Just to look at it.
Yeah,
that's a mean-looking car.
Alpine's was exactly the same as last year. I couldn't tell the difference, but anyway, look, it's for sponsors. It's they just want a chance to do a bit of PR, and also I'm more interested in what sort of wings and setups and stuff they're going to be running when we hit the track for proper testing. But we'll see if we can squeeze any more spy photos out of Barcelona over the next few days.
I did like the Mercedes livery, but that's very similar to the one from last year, and that was nice anyway. So.
And to be fair, Haas looks good too. Like their colour combination seems to work, and their car looks crisp on track as well. So to be fair, I didn't mind the livery, but it's not a huge change from last year.
Lockie, you happy with the Audi livery?
I like the Audi livery. Yes, as Christian said, I watched that by myself in a dark room. It was good. A great little.
Well, you got no choice. You're committed now. You got to like it.
He's all in.
You're stuck with it.
I love it.
I've ordered my stuff. I'm just waiting for the merch to arrive. We'll be fine. It's all good.
So, without spoiling all the reveals, we'll get through each of those individually. But we did have TGR Haas, Audi, Mercedes, Ferrari, Alpine, and Honda.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realise we had another one entering the fray this year, but that's good.
12 teams now. All unveiling their new 2026 cars. But before we get started, I'd like to introduce a little game to the Downshift. And it's a game that I'd like to call Where's Stefano Now?
Do we all have to play, or can we tap out?
You didn't put the groan in the notes there too, Christian. Where is it?
No, well, look, we don't have to play. In fact, it's Stefano Domenicali who's actually going to play for us, because for those of you who are a little bit confused as to why the head of F1's just sort of popping up at livery reveals, we had him pop up, here we go, at the Red Bull Racing Bulls Red Bull Ford powertrain launch, just talking about, I don't know what he was talking about, but decided to pop up in there. And as we go through leading up to the first race in Melbourne, we'll just see where Stefano is now as he pops up throughout the weeks coming up.
He'll be doing his best to promote the brand, so he might be doing a few miles in the private jet, I think.
You're good for their net zero.
Hopefully using biofuel, that'll be fine. Yep.
That's it. Fully sustainable fuels.
Oh, that's been completely offset by Williams not running for the first few days of testing, so it was okay.
maybe that was a sneaky thing they were supposed to be doing. Like that's how they did it.
Yeah, he's called up and said, "Sorry guys, you can't travel because I've used up all your miles.
We've got no fuel for you."
And no carbon offsets
credits. We're done.
So, look, as the week started off, we started off with the TGR Haas reveal. So, the Toyota Gazoo Racing Haas reveal. I'll pop up the image of the cars there. There's been some confusion around the branding of the TGR Haas team. Now, just for everyone's benefit, Toyota is actually restructuring its performance divisions, separating Gazoo Racing, which is meant to be for the enthusiast and Cars and Motorsports, and Toyota Racing, which is meant to be the factory endurance WEC team. So to create clearer brand identity. But in the grey area in the middle, they've decided to keep TGR as the F1 brand. So keeping those two brands together.
So there's 3 different variations anyway. It's Toyota, everyone. That's all you need to know. It's Toyota. So
it's on the back of the rear wing if it helps you.
Yeah, a big
running
GR logo
running which
down the
engine
side.
are they running? They're running
These are running the
Ferraris, aren't
Ferrari. Yeah.
Yep.
So the Toyota Ferrari Haas.
engine. Yeah.
they? Nice.
Yep. Exactly.
So what do you think of this one, guys?
I like it.
Yep.
Black and red and the white. It's nice looking design. Actually, I think it is actually better than last year. A bit more sleek and the big GR at the top. Is there a T there? I can't quite see it on that picture, but
No.
GR
Well,
at the top
let
there.
me throw up. We've got here the comparison. So going from 2016 all the way through to 2026, so you can see the evolution of the car.
It's not bad.
I like it. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how it goes when,
Yeah.
when it gets a bit of dirt from the back of the pack when it's trailing around behind it. But it looks pretty good. Looks crisp. Looks clean. I like it.
Yeah, I agree with Locke. It'd be interesting to see what it looks like when it's hit the wall and the wheels have fallen off.
See what survives.
Yeah. Too soon? Sorry about that.
But as we noticed, the fin is back. The shark fin at the back of the car is back. And look, for me, the Gazoo Racing part, I think really makes this car. It actually makes it look really smart, and makes it look like it's almost like a endurance car. So I think it looks really sexy.
Great for sponsors. I bet all the teams are happy when they realise they had to run a big shark fin down the back because it's probably another $10 million of space a year they can sell for sponsorship. Yeah.
So any other thoughts before we move on to the next one, which I know Lockie's very excited
I'm
about?
looking forward to the next one when you scroll down.
Well, look, we did joke about Lockie watching from a dark room, and Audi did not disappoint. They launched from a dark room at the Kraftwerk Berlin, which is a ex-power plant in Berlin. And for those of you who are John Wick fans, it was actually the Heaven and Hell nightclub from John Wick 4 where that was filmed. So we had Naomi Schiff and Gernot Dolner, the
Is that
CEO
indicative of their season coming up, Heaven and Hell?
Well, I was thinking the same thing, Dan. This could be a slight prediction here. Starts out in heaven and ends up right down the bottom. So I'm thinking this will be a season of 2 sides for them. They'll have a lot of information gathered this season. Won't necessarily be worrying too much in the point scoring end this season, I would think, but we'll see how they travel on. But look, I like the livery on this. It's going to look all right as it goes around the track.
Yep.
Albeit at the minute, based on some of the testing we've seen, it won't be that fast going around the track, but we'll see how they go.
You get plenty of time to see it then, won't you? But that silver, the black, and that orange, they're nice.
Yeah, it does look good. I
don't
don't
even the rear wing with the Audi, that looks good.
You can't read anything into
Hamilton-
times from testing yet, Dan.
I know, but
yeah, we'll see how they go.
apparently they've got a few engine issues at the moment. They're still trying to work their way through. But anyway, that's all right.
Well, my son compared it to a Duracell battery. So, again, I'm not a fan of this livery. I think it's pretty boring. I don't think it was a livery reveal. It was actually more a sponsors reveal because it was exactly the same livery as we saw previously. We just got to see all their sponsors promoted through the launch. And that's where they did the launch. We had a choir, we had a rapper, and then even the camera people did not know where to look or what to shoot through the event. So it was almost like it was a private event. And last minute, someone's gone, "Oh, we should live stream this."
Film it. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things that I thought was really cool and listening to some of the people who were actually there, you had the big TV screen at the back and you actually had Nico who bent down on the TV and went to and pulled his arm back to pull the cover off the car. But you missed the actual effect of him pulling the cover off the car and all of a sudden they're shooting above the car and then you look down and it's already been revealed.
Oh, it's their first season. They're having a crack. They'll learn from it and do better next year.
Yeah. And look, as they revealed, they've got 1,500 people across 3 locations for the entire team. And their slogan being, to start something, stop at nothing. And they were, I think, quite bold in the fact that they were very committed to their Mission 2030, where they're talking about we aim to be a champion in 2030. So they've given themselves 5 seasons to get there.
Is that unique amongst the teams, you think? You reckon they're the only ones aiming to become champion by 2030?
I think they're the only ones who've actually put the peg in the ground.
Well,
And I
Cadillac-
thought Cadillac had too.
Conservative peg.
Cadillac have got their
Yeah, but-
3-year, their 3-year plan, whatever. But every team's going to be basically coming out saying the same
if you watch
thing.
how Audi does their motorsport, though, they will come in, first year or two is basically information gathering, shake down the equipment, and then by the third or fourth year, they have absolute crack at the top end of it.
Yeah.
So I don't
Yep.
think this will be any different for them. But it'll just interesting to see how long it takes, because obviously F1 is quite a steep learning curve in comparison to some of the other motorsport divisions you can run. But interesting to see how quickly they can gather that information and then apply it.
What I think
So if Nico
is,
hangs around long enough, he'll be pegged in 2030.
Well, that's the question: is what does this mean for him?
but I think
And look, as I'm looking at the imagery here, I've got to say, with the colours, this actually does show off the curves of the vehicle, and I'm really impressed with that.
good, very good. Me too.
Are you looking at the same picture I'm looking at? Or?
I think the other thing to take away from the start of this season is we've had previous years in the past where there've been some teams with pretty low budgets, 100 mil, 150 mil, scratching away at the bottom, trying to get a result here or even score a point. But this season we've got significantly more investment from some of those teams. Like Audi's come in, got Cadillac spending a fortune. Aston Martin is spend hundreds of millions of pounds building new facilities. So everyone is pouring money in at the moment to have a big crack over there. They're all going to say, the next 3 years, or 4 years, they want to be champions. So, hopefully we're in for a cracking 3 or 4 years of racing.
Probably beneficial for these new teams to have seen the other teams just tip in a little bit of money over many years and realise they actually can't get anywhere with it. To go, you know what, if you want to have a go, you got to have a red hot crack.
Well,
You can't just be, we can do it on the sniff of an oily rag and we'll be okay, because they can't. They don't.
It's a
It doesn't
significant
work.
investment to win. You have to spend money, like simple as that.
Yeah, it's been proven the small team like that, you can't get to those lofty goals. You have to actually invest in it.
Yeah, you'll fluke a
Look, to
few
be fair-
results, but you're not going to be a contender every year.
Audi and Cadillac have got the ability to back it. They've got big brands behind them to tip in lots of money. I think Haas never really had that. Maybe with, TGR now they will.
Yeah, I think as I think Lockie and I both said, we're really looking at just that gradual evolution to Toyota coming back into Formula One, and it's been a nice entry, being able to be that technological partner, now being the naming rights sponsor, step by step.
Plus, I think for the commercial aspect from the value of a team, we've seen over the last 10 years, like teams that were previously maybe worth, you could pick one up for
A
Braun was
pound.
purchased for $1, a pound or whatever. But, whether it was 50 million, 100 million, 200 million, and now they're valued in the billions. And so I think that's attracting more of this investment, because people like Strolls and so on are in the place are going, well, okay, so maybe it's worth $1 billion now. I could put another 200 million in, and over the next 3 or 4 years, if we get good results, it might be worth 1.5 to 2 billion. Great, I've made money. I'm not just tipping money in for nothing, So that's got to be attractive for big players at the moment as well.
Well, you just have to look in regards to Alpine at the moment, and this is where, with Christian Horner being rumoured to be buying a major stake in Alpine, buying that shareholders' percentage of Alpine, they bought that for about 400 million pounds. Now Christian's looking to buy that for about 900 million. So it's a good time for those investors to get out. They've more than doubled their money, so why the hell not?
Yeah.
Yep. So moving on from Audi Revolut, we then went to Tokyo, and I endured, I can't remember, I don't know if you guys did, I endured what
I did not endure it.
what Honda titled as their return to Formula One. Now, I was a little confused because Honda has been in Formula One for many years now as the engine provider for Red Bull. Yes, Red Bull have gone and done it on their own. So essentially, they've just changed teams and they're now supplying Aston Martin. So we had the CEO from Honda standing in front of a mule car painted in a off Aston Martin green with Honda plastered across the side with their new H on the front. And we had the engine sort of stuck in the corner there as well. But then, and this is where we get to play the game again, is where's Stefano? As Stefano pops up with Lawrence Stroll to launch the power unit for Honda.
At least they painted the
Insert
car.
groan here, or
Yeah.
It's a groan from all of us. It was.
Did you watch the launch?
Yes, it was excruciating.
Hmm.
I actually watched all the way through to the point where they had they also had the Q&A where they had the 5 of them sitting up on stage, each with their own interpreters, but then the interpretation was actually broadcast.
I think it'd be hard. It'd be hard to make the launch of a Formula One engine engaging and entertaining for a global audience. You know what I mean? Like it's not an easy task. I think the target market for that is fairly niche, unless they can tie it into their road cars somehow. But it doesn't sound like they really did. It was an interesting one.
I honestly thought that this was a Honda driven exercise, and essentially Aston Martin and F1 were there to support to indulge Honda.
Good on them.
You can see how the powertrains would be working their way into the Hondas that you see on the road these days of the SUVs. Yeah, so I can really see that, that sort of powertrain filtering its way through.
Honda would be the only team that's producing an engine that don't have their own team as such.
Correct.
Yep. And Ford.
And Ford now. Whereas Audi's
they're a
Audi,
technical
Mercedes
partner.
Mercedes. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, let's move on to Mercedes.
Yeah, skipping over. So, as I was saying when we were sharing last week the calendar, we have 2 reveals from Mercedes. This was the initial render reveal, so no big event for this. But Mercedes, ahead of Shakedown, has actually shared with us the render of their new car.
See, I reckon a render reveal would have been really exciting to watch. They could have made that.
That's why we get Christian to do it.
Stefano could have turned up to that too. They could have rendered him in.
Just on the side.
He's in the
cartoon version. Yeah.
But
anyway,
no,
we can move on. Wait and see if this actually turns up properly and if it's going to look like that. No point giving them time when we haven't actually pulled the car out yet.
No, but look,
okay.
I mean, if I go through them, if we look at the comparison or the evolution from 2010, I actually think this is a really sexy car. And I think they've got just everything right on this now. The lines, the color, the mix of colors.
Well,
people have.
Can we wait and see if it actually goes faster around the track before we say they got everything right? Or
well, wait for it. As we get to the tail end of this pod.
It is a nice looking car. Like it looks really good.
Yeah.
Unlike the next car we're about to discuss. But anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, it's leaps and bounds in front of.
Oh, the red tractor. I mean, when you look back to like 22, 23, 24, I just think they had the look of that car nailed, like the red, predominantly red color. It was proper Ferrari red too. It wasn't the dark one they went with last year. And I know HP's blue and maybe they're paying more money than Shell now, but just that white and blue I just think it wrecks the whole look of the car. Like, anyway, it's unfortunate. Yeah.
Oh, look, personally, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I didn't mind it. And I think it's a hell of a lot better than the 2025 car. So the fact that they've got to put the HP on there, I think they've made an improvement. A lot of people talking about the fact that it sort of harks back to the Michael Schumacher Marlboro days. And in fact, I showed this to my wife and she all of a sudden said, "Oh, that looks like a packet of Marlboros."
I'd agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong.
The problem is the HP logo, it has to be on like a light or white color background. It can't just be like the Shell logo with that works well on a red background. So you're left having to put a big white, ugly, like whatever that thing is on top of that Ferrari, that white section just looks horrific. At least last year they had it was angled. It looked a bit faster and sleeker, but this year just looks...
The red was wrong last year, so at least they've gone back to Ferrari red. But the
Ferrari red looks better. It's a bit
blotch. I still don't.
It's a bit bright.
I think would be turning.
Yeah. Anyway,
So, based on the 5 that we've got up on the screen here, where have they? Where did
I think it's nice. Where do they hit the mark with this car? I like the 20.
yeah?
Oh, yeah, the 2022
Ferrari-
one's the best
Which
looking car
Ferrari
there.
is best? Yeah,
Mhm.
that bottom one.
Yeah, 2022.
yeah, 22 was the best. Yeah.
Nice smooth lines, not big blocks of black sticking out.
Yeah.
The 24 is not bad. And then it went downhill.
All right. So, from a bit of same to different to really same but different, we had
Just same.
a historic, and I swear to God, the amount of times that the word historic was used in this livery reveal. Livery reveal, the first ever on the cruise ship as a gratuitous promotion of MSC Cruises was bandied around. Again, this is where the presenter asked everybody how they felt about being on a cruise ship, how they felt about a historic livery launch. Finally, how do they feel about the livery? But,
Seasick, and that wasn't the cruise ship.
So we've got the new Alpine, the A526 up here for everyone to see there.
Yeah, nah.
Control C, Control V. That one. That was someone's worked out how to copy and paste in Photoshop.
Yeah,
They changed the background color behind it, though.
It looks.
That could just be Christian's photo, but yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
we'll see.
Let's be honest. Quote from Flavio: "We need to go quick. The technology is go fast, no excuses." So let's just see how many times this gets binned into the wall, and we'll see if the wheels still stay on this one as well.
He won't be there after 3 months anyway.
Once
You don't
Horner
reckon?
comes
He'll be
in,
out the
he's
door.
gone. Yeah.
What's he even? Well, I don't even know what he's still even doing there after last year. But anyway,
Long-term
Well,
advisor.
Yeah, I was going to say because he's not even the team principal because he hasn't got the license for that, has he?
I have to say, if his long-term advice was, let's not worry about creating a new livery, let's just put those people on performance parts, then I'm all for it. Good work, but
yeah,
We'll wait and see.
we'll see.
Because to be fair, looking at 25 to 26, they've saved a fortune, like absolute fortune
On
doing
car
that.
design, yeah.
But they are running the Mercedes PUs, so they're one of the 4 teams who have a presumed advantage above all the rest. So we'll see how that goes.
Exactly.
Yes, we will.
Yep. So as I was saying, we did have one final surprise reveal from the Papaya Army, with McLaren revealing what is their Shakedown livery. So they've been very specific in saying that this is not a livery we will see on the race car, but this is the livery which they've used black to try and hide as many of their secrets as possible. But this is the livery that they'll be running around in Barcelona. Now, McLaren have missed day 1, and they're potentially going to miss day 2 because it is actually rumoured to be a little bit wetter on the Tuesday. So it'll be the Tuesday or Wednesday that they start to do their 3 days of shakedown testing.
That is a great looking car, and they should keep that livery and run it for the season.
I love it.
Yeah.
That side shot, it looks really pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
That looks
Yep.
awesome.
That grey through in the back there.
Yep.
A little bit of flecks of orange here and there.
Send it to print, baby. That's the one.
Yeah, that's approved. Approved.
All right. So who's going to send Zach a note and just let him know that the downshift
as
is
soon as we
approved?
I'm going to type an email as soon as we
Hang on,
finish.
I'll just text him now.
Oh,
You mean he's not watching? Oh, God.
it's not live, Nate. Remember, it's not live. It comes out after.
Okay. So the best livery so far, would we agree?
Hands
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're not going to keep it, but
Well, no. After Zach gets Dan's text, it's all good. Locked in.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yep.
I'll look
Those
forward to the
designs will get
confirmation
back onto
tomorrow then. Fantastic.
Aero.
All right. So with all that, obviously we're starting to see the direction of the teams as they go into 2026. And looking in regards to what's been interesting so far, I thought it would be worthwhile putting up a picture of some of the side pods here. And this is where as a lot of people are asking, what does 2026 actually mean in regards to development? What does it mean to the cars? The side pods is actually a testament to what the change in regulation does, because you can see here we've got 6 images here of 6 very different approaches to design in regards to the air intakes for the cars.
Now, can I just ask a rookie question at this stage? So those side pods are you just clarified partly anyway. That's the air intake part of what happens through there.
Correct.
Yeah, well, it's like
Cool.
the Coke bottle shape from the side of the car down to the rear. That's what you would call the side pods.
I think I saw one image last year. I think it might have been when Williams lost part of their paneling that showed
Yep.
the big. Was
Yeah, all the
not an
engine
engine cooler, but
components
it might
and
have been
cooling.
a radiator or something that was there.
Yep.
Through the side there.
Just to clarify too, Dan, you have no more rookie questions list. You're on to novice now, remember?
Oh.
Novice.
Just want to clarify
Sorry,
that as well, please.
I'll move on to the next notepad.
But to your point, Schwags, is, I mean, from this side, you can see for the side pods, yes, there is air management there. You can also see above the driver, and you can see the different shapes there as well in regards to how the air is taken in regards to being used for the engine, for both the air intake for the combustion engine, but also the cooling as well through the vehicle as well.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to see from the start of the season to the end of the season how much modifications go through to those when they figure out what's working best, cooling, airflow, all that sort of stuff. And whether it's tweaked, shaped, rounded more, squared more, whatever. It'll be interesting to see where they start to where they finish.
Yep. I think side pods will be probably the biggest area of change over the next few months, because now all the teams have seen what everyone else is rolling out with. They've probably looked at various different solutions. Some of it will be determined by the engine they're running, the packaging of that engine, and the cooling requirements and where those radiators are and how tight they can pack the engine. And some of it will be based on just their overall aero design, like trying to get downforce under the car to the rear diffuser and how those side pods are structured. But there'll be a heap of work in wind tunnels to see which one's going to work best. And if,
as we look at the Red Bull here, and I think what's really interesting is you can hardly even see the side pod here on the Red Bull, and this actually harks back to the zero side pod, or the zero pod that Mercedes ran in 2022-23, which for those who remember, it was an absolute disaster because there was the lack of the aerodynamic efficiency, plus the porpoising that they were dealing with. So they abandoned that very quickly to be able to try and remain competitive.
Which is interesting because Red Bull had problems with porpoising as well. So you'd be thinking they've now gone back to what's potentially caused that to begin with.
Yeah, but these cars, these cars aren't running as low anymore. So there's that underbody sort of downforce.
So there's different suspension setups too, isn't there?
Yeah, so especially in the front, so pull rod and push rod.
Yeah.
But look, that doesn't tend to make a really big difference. It's more about guiding air through to the side pods or under the car or into air intake. So, and it's not easy to change your suspension. If you've gone with that at the start of the year, it's a pretty big change to have to modify that halfway through the year. So they'll stick with that through the year.
And what I find really interesting about suspension is they still haven't worked out. I mean, the teams will change from push to pull and pull to push, and so there still hasn't been a defined, silver bullet in regards to that. And obviously that comes down to the design.
So they'll have more of a rake. The rear is going to be a bit higher if you've seen track footage so far. So there shouldn't be porpoising issues. So they should be a lot freer to work on how to get air under the car and out to the diffuser.
So that's a lovely segue to the shakedown, and we start to see the cars on track. So we are recording this on the Tuesday night here in Melbourne. So we've had one day of shakedown in Barcelona. So at this stage, we've had all, except for Ferrari, McLaren, Aston and Williams, have all hit the track for their first day of shakedown. Now, Williams will not be attending shakedown at all, with a statement from the team saying, following delays in the FW48 program, we continue to push for maximum performance. And so they've actually said they will not be attending shakedown at all, and they'll be actually running virtual test track
Get it running first and then focus on performance. That's what I would suggest.
So I have a novice question here. We spoke last week.
So does Williams.
About potential engine changes through the season, and I think Nathan was saying, look, the teams have been working on these engines and packages and CAD design for the last 2 years. I'm like, so what the hell are they doing? And like all of last year, James is like, oh no, we're focusing on 26. We're focusing on 26. Well, clearly they're not. So Doing something.
It's until you put it all together and actually then make it run. All this CAD design and all this airflow stuff's great, but when you bolt it all together and actually press the start button, that's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah. The good thing with James is that when they do interview him about this, he's usually pretty blunt and honest about their team. So it'll be interesting to hear what he says and why they've been delayed. And it could be that, look, they were going to be really stretched just to get down here for the shakedown. And if they, from what I'm reading between the lines, I think they're sort of implying that rather than rush something, try to get the team there, fly everything there, why don't we just keep working on it, doing our virtual road testing and everything, and turn up for the first test? They've got like another lump of time to do more integration testing back at the Williams factory, rather than running, like you see, we can talk about it in a second, but the shakedown day, no one's going flat out. They're just doing 20, 30, 40 laps for the whole day, some of these teams, just testing things, getting rid of little bugs, which, Williams might be able to do a lot of that without being at Barcelona.
So speaking of which, at Barcelona, so this is a private test session. So there's been a whole lot of conversation around, why is it private, etc. This was something which was actually requested by the teams to get some additional data on their cars, but also make sure everything is working in harmony. So it's been mandated that it is top secret, so secret squirrel, and there's security around the track, getting reporters to go away and the like. But for day one, we had 631 laps that were ran around the circuit. With that, it was actually a relatively problem-free day. There was only 3 red flags out of all of it, and so one of those was for Colapinto from Alpine, who went off into the gravel. We did have Bortoleto for Audi with a suspected engine issue, and then our Audi only ran 27 laps. Instead of getting the car back out there and running it, they actually took the car off track and said they want to really focus on what the technical issue was and get that right before running again. And then you had Racing Bulls where Punchy accidentally pressed the engine stall button.
Well, to be fair, Colapinto's just probably checking the gravel out for when he puts it in there several times during the season. So that's just a practice run on how to put it in there. So that's okay.
There's new
None of
buttons on the
those 3
wheel.
names surprise me.
No, not at all. Right.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason Stroll's name's not up there was
Lawson.
because Aston wasn't there. So otherwise, he would have been up there.
I reckon Lawson punched the engine stall button. Just saying.
I think there were 2 interesting news items to come out of the first day of their shakedown. I won't call it testing. One was that a lot of reporters, like John Noble was one in particular, and there was a few others who said that they were told to move further and further away by local police, even though they were out on public land.
Public roads.
Yes, they had long lenses and so on, but a few people saying, well, is this illegal? Oh, we can't be told to move on. There was a lot of pressure for these journos to move further and further away. So I think that was one very interesting story to come out of this. And the other was, we were very fortunate that one of the guys of the JB Motorsports, there are some journalists in the UK who have a YouTube channel. You should go and look at it as well. One of them discovered that the track had their live timing system running, and every racetrack in the world has their own timing system. We've got NatSoft in Australia, so you can look at live race event timing. And they worked out what the URL was, and they started broadcasting it on YouTube, and ended up with God knows how many thousands of viewers watching live timing for the first half of Shakedown. It got shut down after that, though.
Apparently, they've switched off now, and it won't be coming back on.
They switched it off at the lunch break. Yeah, F1 was not happy.
Yeah, so you'll see here, I've actually put that timing up on the screen here for everyone, and it was stopped at 4 hours and 47 seconds.
Yep.
Whereby at that
the
stage...
plug was kicked out of the wall, yep.
Yeah. Oops. But yeah, so at that stage, you can see we'd had 7 vehicles run on that. So look, to your point, Huppy, and this is where, if we look at 2025, the fastest quali lap was 1 minute 11 and a half. The fastest race lap was by Oscar with 1 minute 15.7, and the fastest lap time of the day was for Isaac Hadjar at 1 minute 18.159. So they're not doing slow laps. I mean, from that perspective, being a shakedown.
Well, if you compare it
It
to
was
a
pretty
race lap,
impressive.
you're only talking 2.5 seconds, off that sort of pace. So, yeah, maybe Hadjar was
and
pushing
10
a
to
bit.
Perez.
Well,
Yeah, well,
maybe a
but that's
Hadjar wound it up.
they're
You
not. They're not pushing super hard. Although, interestingly, the Red Bulls, I don't know if we've got an image of it, but the teams could select the tyres they wanted to use in shakedown and testing. Red Bull has basically gone for all softs. I don't think they even had a set of hards, or they might have had one set. So they'll be doing a lot of soft tyre running, and some of the other teams won't be doing as much. So you can't read into too many of the times. But of those teams that were testing, I think Hadjar did 43 laps, which was up there in the lap counts. And
no, Hadjar did 107
was
in
it
the
total?
end.
Oh, at the
Yep.
end of the day, yeah.
So down the end there. So yeah.
So it was a good performance from them with seemingly not too many issues, but there were some interviews with drivers afterwards, and they all commented that they were fixing, bug fixing and checking things out, and they all had little issues and dramas they were working on. So, yeah, good to see there was no major failures, though.
So I guess, is this my opportunity to put up my first graph for the season?
No, move along. Keep going. Don't worry about that.
Please do. I have waited.
I think, are we too early for graphs?
The break.
2 episodes is all it took. 2 episodes.
You thought no races was painful to wait for.
I know everyone's been hanging out, but look, what I'll put up here, and I know I haven't got it in the notes yet. So again,
it's a surprise graph.
It's not a surprise.
Not a surprise. It's an ambush.
Where's Christian's graph? It's gonna be striped red and white like Wally.
But what I'll do here is I'll put a graph up so everyone can see. Here is I'm putting up a graph on the number of laps each of the drivers have done, and also where they've finished in regards to the fastest laps. So you'll see there with Isaac Hadjar, who got the fastest time for the day, who'd put in 107 laps. Second fastest was Georgie. So Georgie got 1 minute 18.696. And so for that, he put in 95 laps. And then followed by Colapinto at 120. And so Colapinto did a total of 6 laps there. And as we said, went off into the gravel. So
can we put a massive disclaimer on the bottom of this graph to say this is day one of Shakedown? Please don't go to your betting agency and start putting bets down. Like this is do not read into these times yet.
Past results may not be an indicator of future performance.
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
Someone's been looking at their superannuation
performance. Do not use us as a solid, reliable source. No.
What? Even after our predictions from last season? No. How dare you?
But from that, you can see there's been only 2 teams that both drivers got out on the track on day one, which was Mercedes and also Cadillac. So you had Bottas, who did 33 laps, and Perez, who did 11 laps. So obviously there's a lot more to be done over the next 4 days. And a reminder that each team has 3 days out of the 5 that they can actually do testing. So even if they roll out on the track tomorrow and it's pouring down rain, that classifies as a day. So we may actually see a few teams opting not to go out tomorrow, depending on the weather.
Most teams only took one set of wet tyres, didn't they? So they won't be rushing to head out if it's fully wet.
I think it's awesome. What if it pours down for the next 3 days and no one gets any more running, and we go into proper, testing with
knowing nothing,
stuff all knowledge. I think that's awesome.
Already, Nathan. Let's make it interesting and get the rain.
Put the sprinklers on. Yeah.
You think it's going to be that boring this season?
Get the skid pan practice out. Let's go.
Already waiting for rain.
Now, the other thing I'd say is our viewers or listeners, wherever you are, Formula One themselves on the YouTube channel just put up I think it's like an 8-minute bit of a highlight package of the Shakedown day from day one. Worth having a look at, because regardless of what we think of their launch liveries, the cars themselves on track, I think, just have a much more aggressive and I think noticeably more compact appearance. I think they look really good, and they do look visually smaller. I was surprised. And judging by the comments from a few interviews afterwards, I think Bottas was interviewed, I heard from Franco, they were both saying there's more to learn about the car. The setups are different. The way you drive it is different. So there's a lot to get your head around. So fingers crossed it's all gonna add to some good overtakes and racing action.
So link in the description below. We'll have that link to the F1 9-minute video so people can jump on there and have a look at that as well. Because, it is, I agree, Happy. It's a really good summary.
Mm.
So as we're saying, we still have a few teams who haven't got out on the track. Now, Aston Martin has already come out and said they will be already sacrificing a day. So at maximum, they're going to be doing 2 days of testing. But even then, it's shakedown. But then it's potentially only going to be 1 day of shakedown. So read into that as you will.
They're gonna kill it this year.
All that investment's going well then.
Yep.
Car got stuck in the wind tunnel. Well, it's fine. It'll come out fine later.
Yeah. I mean, it's great to see Cadillac out there, like running laps. They had both drivers in and a brand new team. The whole setup is brand new. Like, it must be exciting for all of those team members to actually have their car out running laps without blowing up or breaking down or a wheel coming off. So good on them.
Well, hopefully they're practicing pit stops as well, because they're going to have to be ripping to them as opposed to the NASCAR ones. They get to take a lot longer. Hopefully they're actually doing some serious pit stop testing.
We did
want to be at the bottom of that pit stop graph.
We did have a comment. We did have a comment from a US listener viewer who said they really wish there was more Formula One in America because US racing's, too dumbed down and simple, and NASCAR and dirt road, whatever. But I think there's actually a lot of technology in the US, and these guys can do a really good job. So, it's a growing audience in the States, which is why Cadillac's in F1 now. And I know I've said it before, but I'd really love to see them do well. So it would be keen to see how they go in testing.
I assume for Cadillac, this would have been a great opportunity for them to be, obviously they've practice pits and all the rest of it, but to actually be there with other teams and, moving around each other and everything else that goes on in a live
environment. Yeah, they've done virtual stuff, obviously, but to actually be there on track, using systems on track, the pits, everything. Yeah.
And it was a little bit of a race at the start of the morning that for the teams to get out there, and Cadillac was out the front there wanting to get out and mix it up with Mercedes, mix it up with Alpine to show that they're serious and their car is up and running. And the other part of it is we really didn't have any major technical failures for the day. So the fact that there's been 631 laps ran, Cadillac did 44. So as a starting team, yes, on the lower end of the scale, but consistent laps with no major issues.
They're there at day one.
No lights went out, no broken windows.
To be fair, it's still almost double what Audi did. So,
Yeah.
Exactly.
True.
So
hang in there, mate. They'll get there.
Yeah. Mission 2030. So with that, we do have a week of Shakedown. So we'll be eagerly keeping an eye on all the leaked footage and the reports at the end of each day from Formula One to be able to bring everyone up to speed next week, where we will then be
Sorry,
going
can I just chip in? I mean, thank God this is supposed to be secret. Imagine if it wasn't secret, that we could actually see the footage. I mean, thank God it's secret and we only get the lap times, the footage, the noises. Geez, I tell you what, thank God it's secret.
Well, Formula One have put a restriction on each team at track to say that you are only allowed to release 6 images per day from Shakedown. So you've got to feel for the marketers who are having to go through and make those critical decisions in regards to what they're posting on their social media.
Right.
They'd be bored at the moment.
Well, the Haas ones have got a lot of time. They'd have to change the livery, so they're good.
So, all right. So it's Secret Squirrel Week as the teams do their shakedown of their cars around the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya.
So we'll be back next week to report on nothing.
Correct.
Excellent.
As I think one of our viewers said, 4 puffs and no piano. So so get ready for some more puffing.
Year, isn't it?
We'll try and dig out something valuable. That's right.
We will get 30 minutes of nothing out to them, Dan. Don't you worry about that.
Can someone please bring a piano next week?
Join us at episode 9.
But no, look, for our listeners, for our viewers, we'd love to hear what your burning questions are that you'd like for us to answer. So please, in the comments below, post what's burning for you that you'd like to understand. We've already had a request in regards to going through some of the technicalities of the terminology with active aero, overtake mode, boost and recharge. So we'll talk about that in the coming episodes because there is a little bit of technicality around that. And also your thoughts on the upcoming season and what you've seen so far from the Shakedown, as to who you think is looking awesome, who you're really excited
Just
about.
how far up the list you think Audi will end up for us? So we'd all like to know the thoughts on that.
So as this week goes through Shakedown,
we will continue to keep our eyes peeled for the high-quality, sneaky footage captured on telephoto images.
And I'll be turning the volume up to 11 just to try and hear the performance of those engines as they go around.
And I will. I'll be trying to ignore all the rumours and gossip of performance of different cars and how they're going to appear in the pecking order.
So until next week, we'll see you on the next lap.